at least for the first few weeks, just keep it in your pants for a bit. I have said before that when you go on your first cruise ship, it is really important to be on your best behaviour for at least the first few weeks. First impressions count for a lot. If for the first month on board, you work your arse off, you're always the first one to help, you arrive early, you're the last one to leave, you have a good attitude, you're a hard worker, I promise you, your managers and your colleagues will notice. They might not say anything, but they will notice. And if after that first month on board you start slacking off a little bit, maybe you arrive on time and not early, maybe you aren't the first one to help, people aren't actually going to pick you up on it, because in their mind they've already put you in the box of hard worker, arrives early, last one to leave, always offers to help. However, the opposite is also true. If for that first month on board you arrive late, you don't work hard, you're not a team player, maybe you've got a bad attitude, maybe you're always asking if you can leave early or when the shift is over, and then miraculously after 1 month on board you start arriving early and leaving late and offering to help, it's kind of too late, because people have already put you in a category in their mind of doesn't work hard, arrives late. I have seen this happen many times. People try to redeem themselves and it goes completely unnoticed. If your manager has already made their mind up about you, it's really difficult to get them to see you in a different light. And the reason I say this is because I want you all to be in your manager's good graces, because my God, does it make a difference to your contract if you are. If your manager likes you, goes easy on you, feels like they don't have to micromanage you because they can trust that you will get the job done, you are going to have a much better experience working on board. So while I can absolutely do a video on the things that you should do when you first get on board to gain your managers and your colleagues' respect and appreciation, this video is not that video. We're going to go through the things that you absolutely want to avoid doing in those first few weeks on board for the reasons that I have just given. The first one is don't be a drain. People are already tired. People are working really long hours. If you come to work on a cruise ship and you've got negative energy, you're complaining all the time, people are just going to not want to be around you. And on cruise ships, people really are not tolerant of complainers, because everyone has this outlook of like, well, you chose to be here. We've all chosen to be here. And this is actually an amazing job to have, a difficult job to get. If you don't like it, there's 1,000 people that want to be here. And also, everyone on board is working long days and their contract is 6 to 9 months. So if you have just got on board and you're complaining about how tired you are to someone who is 7 months into their contract, let's just say sympathy is not the reaction you're going to get. So ideally, you want to be a positive ball of energy. But if you're not a positive ball of energy, that's okay. Just don't be the opposite, which is a drain. Don't sleep with someone in the same department. Ideally for your whole contract, but my God, at least for the first few weeks, just keep it in your pants for a bit. Relationships on board cruise ships are complex because personal and professional life, there's a lot of crossover. And when you first get on board a cruise ship, you don't know the dynamics yet. How could you? You've just got on board. So trust me, you do not want to risk getting involved in some sticky situation between two colleagues. So while it is completely normal to develop attraction or develop a crush on someone that you work with who's in your department, you don't need to act on it. And I would definitely not act on it for the first few weeks. One, because you obviously don't want to get involved in any sticky situationships, but also like most likely you're going to have to see this person every single day for the next 6 to 9 months. It really is best to just steer clear of people that you work with. It can't always be avoided, and sometimes it's fine and it turns into a lovely relationship, but I have worked with many people where it doesn't blossom into a lovely relationship, and then you just have this awkward situation that you have to navigate every single day. And it's not ideal. It's not ideal. So maybe try and avoid it if you can, especially for those first few weeks while people are still like categorizing you in their mind and making their mind up about you. Yeah, sleeping with someone you work with immediately after getting on board is never a good idea. And I'm still surprised how many people do it, even though it's just a terrible idea. Don't be a bitch. Hopefully you're going to join a cruise ship where Everyone is friends, kumbaya, no one's bitching about anyone. But there is always a chance that you're going to join a ship where there is some animosity present. And it's natural that not everyone is going to get along with everyone. So you might be in a situation where you're talking to your colleagues and they start talking about another person that you work with. Ideally, just never join in, but at least until you truly have a well-rounded view of a person and the situation, don't join in. And I'll tell you from personal experience, my first cruise ship, the spa that I joined was very bitchy, very catty. And I remember one day I was talking to this girl that I worked with and she started bitching about another girl that we worked with. Let's call her Claire. And I don't know what possessed me, but I also started bitching about Claire. I didn't know Claire. Definitely didn't know enough to have an opinion, but either way, I did. I think I'd been on board like 5 days. The next thing I know, Claire is coming up to me because the girl that I had been talking to had told Claire all of the things that I had said. And in my mind, I was like, bitch, I only said those things because I was agreeing with you. But I still said them. So I just owned up to it and learnt my lesson, which was to keep my mouth shut. And throughout my decade working on cruise ships, I only continued to learn that whatever you say, people will find out what you said. Like Claire will always find out what you said. So it is just best to not talk about people. And I know that sounds like such a simple piece of advice. Like, yeah, don't be a twat. But sometimes you're genuinely not trying to be an asshole and you are just venting because maybe something has happened at work or, you know, you want to get something off your chest. Ideally, do this with someone that works in a different department or with a friend or a family member back home. Because trust me, if you talk to someone who you work with, 9 times out of 10, it's going to get back to them. So either just say it to their face or don't say it. Don't be messy. This is especially true if you have a roommate, which if this is your first contract, most likely you do. If you're living in a cabin the size of a shoebox, you being messy is a really fast way to get people to dislike you. On land, if you're sharing a house or an apartment with someone and they are doing your head in, you can go to the next room. You can, you know, go out for a walk. There's a myriad of things you can do to create some space. If you're living in a cabin the size of a shoebox on a cruise ship, there's nothing you can really do to create space other than close the curtain on your bunk bed. So if you are messy or inconsiderate in a shared space, you're going to feel that immediately. Of course, you don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be clean and show that you understand that it's a shared space and it's just as much your space as it is their space. And while I'm on this topic, shower. If you're working a 12-hour shift, you need to shower at least once a day. Don't come on board acting like you know everything, because you don't. This is especially true if it's your first contract, but even I'm talking to the people who are 2, 3, 4 contracts in. Every cruise ship is different, every team is different, every dynamic, you know, every manager wants things done differently. If you go in any situation or job thinking that you know everything, unwilling to learn, I mean, yeah, that's a really quick way to get people to think you're arrogant and difficult and just not want to spend time with you. When Virgin first launched, they hired someone to manage the overall shops. And she had had years of experience, you know, with like Louis Vuitton and some incredible brands. And she came in thinking that she knew everything, but she hadn't worked with cruise lines before. And she was the most insufferable person. And what was worse is she was actually like awful because she didn't know anything, because she was unwilling to accept that cruise ships work completely differently and she actually had a lot to learn. And if she would just, you know, get off her high horse for a minute, everyone was willing to teach her. And everyone, you know, wanted her to succeed, but because she was so set in her ways and so adamant that she knew everything and she knew better than everyone, well, she got fired because she was shit. So, like, there is nothing worse than a new joiner coming on board and correcting people and questioning why things are done a certain way when they've been there for 5 minutes. Just be humble, Observe, ask questions, let people teach you things. Like, people love feeling like the expert. So, I mean, if you want people to like you, literally just ask loads of questions and make them feel like the expert. Don't be defensive every time someone tries to give you feedback. So this goes off the point that I just gave. You're going to have a lot to learn, especially if it's your new cruise ship. And this means you're going to make mistakes, and that's fine. Like, no one is expecting you to go on your first cruise ship and be perfect right out of the gate. It doesn't happen. So when people do give you constructive criticism and give you feedback, it's important that you try not to take it personally. Sometimes the feedback's going to be really useful. Sometimes it's going to be badly delivered. Sometimes it will absolutely feel unfair. But either way, if every time someone tries to correct you or give you feedback, you get in a mood or have an attitude or become argumentative, people are just going to start avoiding you. You know, colleagues don't want to feel like they have to walk on eggshells around you. And people need to trust that if they point something out to you, you're going to take it on board and work to change it or improve it. And this is why it's so important to be able to divide personal and professional life. I've already spoken about the fact that there's a lot of crossover, because the people that you work with are usually the people you end up hanging out with outside of work. So yes, they're your colleagues, but they're also your friend. And it can be difficult when your friend is giving you professional feedback in work, and then maybe you're a little bit salty about that, but then after work, you're going to go to the beach with them. It is difficult, which is why I think one of the best skills you can harness when you go on board a cruise ship is to understand that not everything needs to be taken personally. Someone can think you're an incredible person, but there's something about the way you do your job that could be improved. Don't get too drunk so that you become everybody else's problem. Now, I'm not saying not to have a good time. You're going to go to Crew Bar, you're going to have a great time, and it's where some of my favourite memories were made, in Crew Bar. But there's a big difference between having a few drinks and having a laugh, and getting to the point where you're blackout drunk and now everyone else feels like they have to take care of you. And, you know, you're crying, you're fighting, you're vomiting, you're shouting, you're causing drama, you're saying inappropriate things. Like, no one wants to be around that, especially because on a cruise ship, there is basically a zero tolerance alcohol policy. So essentially, you're allowed to have one beer, and after one beer, you're kind of over the limit, and you can be fired if someone chooses to breathalyze you. And I've said many times, if you get really drunk at a party, but when they tell you to go back to your cabin, you go back to your cabin, you go to bed and you turn up to work the next day, nothing is going to happen. But yeah, if you get drunk and you start causing issues, of course they're going to breathalyze you. If you start attracting attention to yourself, then yeah, they're going to breathalyze you. But they might also breathalyze the people that you're hanging around with because you're being inappropriate. And let's not forget, the people that you embarrass yourself in front of at night are the same people that you are going to have to work with the next day. And I'm sure this will happen. Like, you're all going to have messy nights, some more messy than others. But again, I just would avoid getting too messy within the first few weeks of being on board. One, because people are still making their mind up about you, and you really don't want people to put you in the box of alcoholic or can't handle a drink, can't handle his drink. So by all means, have fun, enjoy a drink here and there, enjoy Crew Bar. But if you know that you're a sloppy drunk, it's your responsibility to either control that or to not drink. You know, if you know what you like, you've got to fix it. Number 9 is don't mess with people's sleep. Woo! When you're working every day on a cruise ship, sleep is priceless. And if you're coming back in your cabin, and if you're going back to your cabin after Crew Bar, and you're turning on lights and you're making noise and you're stumbling around, taking phone calls, slamming drawers, people are going to hate you. And that might not just be your roommate. You know, if you're walking through the corridor at 1 a.m. and for some reason you're noisy about it and you're waking multiple people up as you're walking past the cabins, you are not going to be popular. A lot of people are running on not enough rest anyway, and that obviously affects their mood, their work, their stress levels. You don't want to be the one to add to someone's stress, add to someone's tiredness. So yeah, do not mess with people's sleep, otherwise you will be in for a rough ride. And the last one is don't just be a taker, give back as well. I've said many times before that working on cruise ships, it's very much a I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine type of world, you know? You don't always get things through the correct channels. For example, on one ship, I had a roommate, her husband was a chef. We would literally get like gourmet dinners every night. I just got it because I was the roommate, but obviously he was providing it for his wife. And I just, you know, I got lucky. So obviously whatever he needed, you know, I would do my best to put him in touch with the right person or help him out myself. And if you get a reputation for being a taker and someone who's selfish, ultimately you're doing yourself a disservice, because people are just not going to help you out. People are not going to do things for you. And on ships, it's also very important to be kind, not nice, kind. There's a big difference to everyone, because you never know who you're going to need. And I think sometimes, you know, when you get on board a cruise ship, there's obviously the hierarchy system, and everyone wants to be friends with the officers and the people that are quite high ranking. Understandably, they get a lot of perks, and I think, you know, everyone wants to be friends with the top dog, right? But it's just as important to be kind and friendly to everyone at every level. When you're on a cruise ship, you really do need everyone at every level. And you might not understand why when you first get on board, but the longer that you are on board cruise ships, it becomes pretty apparent why. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, click that like button and of course press subscribe. If you have not already, if you have subscribed, mwah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. But if you have any questions or any comments, either leave them down below, or you can DM me on Instagram at cruisingascrew, or send me an email, lucy@cruisingascrew.com. But thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. And as always, I will see you in the next video.